Next is basis of accounting. The basic objective of accounting is to ascertain the profit earned or loss caused to the business entity at the end of each accounting period. And for this purpose, we have two bases for ascertaining the profit or loss of the business entity. Number one is cash basis, and second is accrual basis, right? Let us see something about the cash basis of accounting. Under this system of recording, all the financial transactions are recorded only when cash is received or cash is paid. So it will totally ignore the credit transaction, and thus credit transactions are not recorded in the books of under this system, right? Credit transactions, credit sale of goods, credit purchase of goods will not be entertained over here. It means revenue is recognized only on the receipt of cash and the expenses recognized only on its payment. Because यही belief है ना हमारा, तो कैश मिला तो रिकॉर्ड करना है, कैश गया तो रिकॉर्ड करना है, बाकी तो रिकॉर्ड नहीं करना, पैसा बाकी तो बाकी है, बाद में देखेंगे. So that's a point. So any expense will be recognized when the amount is paid, and any income revenue is recognized only when it is received. Hence, अगर कैश बेसिस है तो outstanding expenses, prepaid expenses, income accrued and income received in advance are not considered, right? This will be the disadvantage basically. So the difference between the total receipts and the total expenses represent either profit or loss, or surplus or deficit, anything. Generally, this system of accounting is adopted by the non-trading concerns, as I told you, okay, not-for-profit organizations. Maybe like school is there, college is there, or a club is there, a charitable hospital or a trust, and maybe like by professionals like lawyers, doctors, architects, chartered accountants, etc. Right? So these are the people who follow this system actually, that is cash basis of accounting. Advantages of cash basis of accounting, right? The method is very simple and easy to understand and follow as compared to accrual basis, right? Cash basis is very simple, like cash comes in recorded, cash goes out recorded. Otherwise, we need not to worry about the things. Second, technique is suitable in those enterprises where almost all the transactions are on cash basis. This is another biggest advantage over here. No adjustment. Accrual की जो बातें यहाँ पे होंगी नहीं ना, तो those are the advantages over here. No adjustment for outstanding and prepaid expenses is required. Similarly, no adjustment for accrued income and income received in advance is made. No adjustments. No. Right? We have 4 special adjustments throughout the year. I'll be talking to you about these things. Outstanding expenses, prepaid expenses, outstanding income and pre-received income. 4 adjustments are there. So these 4 adjustments are not to be taken care of under cash basis of accounting. So that's an advantage, right? And this method is not affected by the personal biasness of the accountant or the management. Personal biasness will be there whenever personal judgment comes into picture, when like the accountant or the owner has to decide like how much amount of depreciation has to be charged, how much amount of provision has to be made. So over there the personal biasness can come, but because we are recording on the cash basis, so it is not getting affected. Disadvantages. In disadvantages, we can see that cash basis of accounting is not based on the principle of matching concept. Matching concept is not followed. I'm sure like you remember something of matching concept of chapter 3, wherein like it was discussed that like under matching concept, we need to match the expenses and the revenues. Expenses, all the expenses, revenues, all the incomes. We need to match these two against each other, and that too like of current accounting period only, correct? And because this concept is not followed, so all the incomes and all the expenses are recorded which may not relate to the same accounting period. So that's the disadvantage, right? No distinction is made between the capital and the revenue items, and so the profit or loss is not comparable over a period of time. The another disadvantage is the system is not scientific, so profit or loss exhibited can easily be manipulated, as payment of expenses or income may be deferred to show the wrong picture of the entity. Continuing with disadvantages, this system is not recognized by the Indian Companies Act 2013. Okay, not recognized, so it will not be reliable also. Okay, so this is another disadvantage. And the fifth one is The system of cash basis of accounting does not reveal a true and fair view of profit or loss and the financial position also, as it is not based on the principle of matching concept, the principle of accrual basis. Okay, जब तक accrual basis follow नहीं करेंगे या matching concept follow नहीं करेंगे, तो we are not going to take into consideration the various adjustments. Like if you talk about depreciation also, depreciation is a non-cash item, so will not be considered over here. You are not going to record that in the books of accounts. So because cash na aaya na gaya, so we are ignoring the non-cash transactions over here. Okay, making a provision, again reducing the profit, but there is no cash involved, so we don't record it. So the point is, because you don't follow the matching concept, because you don't follow the accrual assumption, so our books of accounts are not that accurate and we will not be able to get the clear picture, the fair picture of profit or loss or the financial position of the business entity. Next is for accrual basis of accounting. Accrual basis is very much similar to the accrual assumption, matching concept, all those things are followed over here. Just the opposite. No adjustments are considered over there. We will be considering the adjustments over here. Okay, and this is a system which is scientific. This is a system which has been recognized by the Companies Act also. This is a system which is followed by every business entity, right? Let us see this. The system of accrual basis of accounting is considered as a most scientific system of accounting, as it is based on the principle of recognition, principle of matching concept. Under accrual basis of accounting, income is recognized when the sales is made or services rendered rather than when the cash is received. This is what we already have learned under accrual assumption. Similarly for expenses also. Okay, expenses recognized when an asset or service has been used to generate the revenue, irrespective of the fact whether the expense is paid or not. The same lines were there. The same lines were there under accrual assumption, the third assumption in the third chapter. Thus, the credit sale is treated as a part of the total sales of the accounting period, irrespective of the cash is received or not. Similarly, credit purchases will also be considered as a part of the total purchase of goods. Under accrual basis of accounting, the net profit of the firm is ascertained on the principle of matching concept. Accrual आता है तो matching concept की बात तो निकलनी ही चाहिए, because over here we are going to restrict ourselves to the expenses and incomes of the current accounting year only. Accordingly, following points must be observed. The same examples will be there probably. Yes, the rent or salary outstanding for the March 2020 will be considered as an expense of the March 2020 and not of April 2020 when these expenses are paid. Related to this only, I have given you the example earlier. The salary for the month of March paid in the month of April, maybe the practice of the organization to pay the salary on the 7th of the next month, right? So irrespective of when it is paid, we just need to think of for which month the expenses. Accordingly, we are going to consider it of that particular accounting year only. Okay. Next is salary paid in March 2020 for the month of April 2020. Salary paid in the month of March for April. Though it is an expense of the month of April, so we will not consider it over here, right? So this is about the outstanding and the prepaid. Similarly, interest on investments. You talk about the income side as well. यहाँ पे दो expenses हो गए, तो incomes की बात कर लो. Interest on investments accrued on 31st of March 2020 will be considered as an income of 1920, even though cash has not been received, or even if it is received in the month of April or May, we will not consider the income of that particular accounting year. 2021 का income नहीं आएगा, that will be of 1920 only. Under accrual basis of accounting, net profit is ascertained by matching the revenue realized and the cost incurred during the accounting period. Accordingly, the four adjustments I was telling you, okay, all four adjustments are adjusted. Four adjustments, again I repeat: outstanding expense, prepaid expense, outstanding income, which can be termed as income accrued, and pre-received income is income received in advance. I need to adjust these four under accrual basis so that we can arrive at the net income of the accounting period. All trading and profit-making concerns, including the companies, follow this system as it is a most scientific and is based on the double entry system of accounting. Most of the companies, every company must be following this accrual basis only, not the cash basis. Cash basis basically is followed by the small traders. You can talk about the NFPOs, the not-for-profit organizations, and you talk about the professionals, the doctors and the lawyers and the CAs वगैरह जो भी रहते हैं, so they do record the transactions on cash basis only. Let us see the advantages. In advantages, It is a most scientific system of accounting. It is based on the double entry system, and that is why this system is preferred and followed all over the world by the accountants. Second, it follows the principle of recognition and principle of matching concept. The disadvantage of cash basis will become the advantage of accrual basis, right? Because it follows the principle of recognition, because it follows the principle of matching concept, so the system discloses the correct and true profit for the accounting period and also exhibits the true and fair view of the financial position of the enterprise through the balance sheet. Third, the system maintains a distinction between the capital and the revenue item. The same thing was a disadvantage. No distinction made between the capital and the revenue items under cash basis, and the same is the advantage over here. The system maintains the distinction between the capital and the revenue items, so a profit and loss account will depict a true and fair view. This system of accounting makes the inter-period and the intra-firm comparison possible because it is based on the accounting principles basically, right? Disadvantages is not as simple as a cash basis. If you remember, this was the advantage, the first advantage under cash basis. It is simple and easy method. At that time I told you as compared to accrual, but it is a disadvantage for the accrual. It is not as simple as the cash basis of accounting. Second, the system is based on matching concept, accrual basis, so adjustments are to be considered. Because of this, the system is complicated, so quick appraisal of the financial statements is not feasible. The system requires a personal judgment of the accountant or the management. Personal judgment in respect of the valuation of stock, the selection of method of charging depreciation, for creating a provision for the doubtful debt. Wherever the personal judgment comes, it's a limitation, it is always a disadvantage. So the true profit may not be ascertained due to the personal biasness of the accountant or the management, right? Now finally, we have distinction between the last topic of the chapter. We have good number of points of the difference between the cash basis and the accrual basis. Need to understand it. All the same things are going to be repeated. The basis of recording, when you talk about the accrual basis, whether cash or credit, all the transactions are recorded over here. But under cash basis of accounting are recorded on cash basis only. Second, recording of incomes. Under accrual basis, we know the incomes received or not. Okay, whether the cash is received or not, all the incomes are to be recorded on accrual basis. But under cash basis, incomes are recorded on cash basis only, right? Irrespective of the fact whether they relate to current year or not. Similar thing for expenses. So recording of expenses is the third difference. Under accrual basis, again we can see that the expenses are recorded on accrual basis over here. So expense must relate to the current year only, whether paid or not, whereas under cash basis are recorded on cash basis and irrespective of the fact whether they are related to current period or not. Fourth, capital and revenue items. Under accrual basis, the distinction is made. Okay, distinction. This system, accrual basis, keeps a distinction between the capital and revenue items, but under cash basis, the system did not make any distinction between the capital and revenue items. Fifth, the users. Okay, under accrual basis, the system is generally followed by the business entities whose objective is to earn profit. Profit earning organizations generally follow this, whereas cash basis is followed by not-for-profit organizations and the professionals, right, who are the users that has been mentioned over here. Next, possession of technical knowledge. We all know that cash basis is very simple. So because it's simple, it may not require the technical knowledge, but under accrual basis, we need to go through the adjustments concept or charge adjustments, outstanding expense, prepaid expense, outstanding income, pre-received income. So the adjustments are required to be done over here. So it is expected that the accountant must possess a technical knowledge. Next, use of GAAP, that is generally accepted accounting principles. We all know that under accrual basis, we follow the accounting principles, but under cash basis, it violates the requirements of GAAP, that is generally accepted accounting principles. Next, legal position. The accrual basis is recognized under Companies Act 2013, whereas cash basis is not recognized under Companies Act 2013. Reliability. Reliability will be more under accrual basis because we consider all the various adjustments and all, right? We follow the concepts, so reliability will be more as compared to cash basis under accrual basis. And in cash basis, we can see that because only cash transactions are recorded, true profit cannot be ascertained, hence the system is not reliable.